I know that there is no such thing as a free lunch, dinner, or even a visit to an embassy. I know that you're waiting for those lids to be removed, and they will, I promise. I promise. It's not empty there. There is some variety of Bulgarian specialties there. This is one of the ways to know a country, and I know that maybe that stays longer as a memory, because somebody tonight was asking me about Bulgarian tomatoes, which means that maybe one of the first features you should hear about tonight, and speaking of food and culinary art and cuisine, it is true that we still claim to be holding the monopoly over the most tasty tomatoes in the region and obviously across the Atlantic. So it is true that when I'm meeting groups like yours, with you it will be even more challenging, and I'll tell you why. My main thought is, well, what am I going to say to all these dear friends and people who would that they would remember? That's why I thought I would start with the tomato. Now I'm a little bit intimidated because I understand that you're touring embassies, which makes it even more challenging. Everybody will try to sell, in the best sense of the word, their country in the best possible way. So I thought I would deal with some very simple physical features as a beginning, and I will hopefully have a cutting edge to my colleagues. You heard one of those features, because our job is very political, as you know, diplomatic political. When I mention centuries, this comes to tell you that Bulgaria is an old country. So this is another thing you can take away from here. I know that for Americans, being old is not that difficult. With a fairly young nation like yours, there are so many others who can claim age and longer statehood or longevity. But it is true that Bulgaria is a very old state. It was formed in 681. Imagine all the cultural layers that followed. I won't bother you with all of them, but lots of different cultures, crossroads in Bulgaria. This is why a very attractive reason for you to visit Bulgaria, and I was happy to see that many hands that showed, would be to visit a number of architectural sites there. So there are even tours which are dedicated, which are focused to archaeology, old architecture, and religious sites and religious temples. Because if you only go and follow the religious history of the country, you would practically know the complexity and the richness of European religious history. With us, religion went very much in hand with art, with architecture, with construction. So following that line of interest, you will learn a lot more. Another thing which I want you to remember, and probably that a map can help you in that respect, is that Bulgaria is situated at a very, very vulnerable place in Europe. That's southeastern Europe. We've got Greece and Turkey to the south. We've got former Yugoslavia to the west, which is Serbia, Macedonia today, Romania to the north, and the Black Sea to the east. Until some time ago, I was jokingly explaining to groups like this that the only neighbor with whom we have no problems was our eastern neighbor, namely the Black Sea. Because otherwise, historically, we've had a lot of disputes with all our neighbors. This no longer holds true, given the developments across the Black Sea and Russia's aggression on Ukraine. But another important thing to know about Bulgaria is that because of the vicissitudes in European history, because of a number of wars, which is not just the two wars you know, the First and the Second World War, but also local wars known as the Balkan Wars, Bulgaria was losing territory consistently to its neighbors. And it may sound like a bitter joke, but it is true that Bulgaria is probably the only country that borders on itself. This was also a reason for a number of tense relationships with individual countries. Luckily, this belongs to the past already.